You're not lazy. Your brain is being hijacked. Every scroll on TikTok, every tap on a game, none of it is random. It's dopamine, the silent thief of time. Meanwhile, the wealthy aren't chasing instant gratification. They choose something slower, harder, deeper, endorphins. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not being entertained. You're being trained to stay distracted. The dopamine trap, the silent destroyer. You wake up and grab your phone. Your eyes are still blurry, your body half asleep, but your brain whispers, just 5 minutes. Then comes the first video, and the next. Before you know it, an hour passes, and you barely remember what you just watched. You're not lazy, but you've been programmed. Dopamine, the so-called pleasure molecule, once helped humans survive. It rewarded us for finding food, shelter, or safety. But today, dopamine is weaponized. Social media, mobile games, short videos, they're all designed to trigger dopamine over and over. Not to help you, but to keep you hooked. Dopamine gives you instant gratification, but never real happiness. It doesn't satisfy you. It conditions you to repeat. One video feels good, then another, then another. And before long, that familiar emptiness creeps back in. You're stuck in a loop. Stimulus, reward, emptiness, then stimulus again. And suddenly, you can't stand anything that takes time. You can't focus. You can't read. You can't even sit quietly with your thoughts. Scientists call it dopamine desensitization. Your brain now craves faster, louder stimulation just to feel okay. You're not broken. You're not weak. But you are caught in a system designed to steal your focus, one tap at a time. It won't break you overnight. It just makes sure you never rise above it. The wealthy don't crave less dopamine than you. They feel emotions. They need motivation. But they choose a different kind of pleasure, slower, harder, and far more lasting. That's endorphin. It's a hormone your brain releases after extended effort. When you push past your limits. When you keep going through boredom. When you almost quit but didn't. At first, it's uncomfortable. But if you don't stop, that pain slowly transforms into something powerful. A quiet sense of strength, calm, and pride. Runners call it the runner's high. Writers call it flow. Monks call it peace. No applause. No spotlight. Just a quiet moment. A silent nod to yourself that says, I did it. Endorphins don't show up right away. They arrive after sweat, after discipline, after the moment most people give up. And that's why they build powerful people. Look at Warren Buffett. No computer, no smartphone. Just 5 to 6 hours a day spent reading books, reports, financial statements. While others scroll, he studies. Not because he loves reading, but because he loves the feeling of knowing what others don't. That feeling, that's endorphin. High performers still enjoy life, but they choose pleasure that makes them stronger. Books, workouts, deep thinking, real skills. Because endorphin isn't addictive, but once you feel it, you want more of who you're becoming. You train, feel strong, want to keep going. You learn, feel smarter, crave the next insight. You win a small battle with procrastination, feel proud, and start looking for the next challenge. Endorphins create a growth loop. Dopamine creates a consumption loop. One pulls you down. The other pulls you forward and quietly changes everything. It might sound strange, but the way you spend your free time is quietly shaping your social class. A study from Harvard Business School found that the elite often use their downtime to read, work out, build skills, or meditate. Meanwhile, lower income groups tend to choose mobile games, short videos, or endless television. On the surface, everyone's just relaxing. But the difference is clear. One side is recharging their willpower, while the other is draining it away. You could start your day by reading for 30 minutes, or scrolling for 3 hours and feeling numb afterward. Both are choices, but the consequences? Entirely different. You don't lose your edge all at once. You lose it a little each day. Your clarity, your energy, your momentum. Until there's nothing left to restart with. I had a friend, smart, driven, got into a top university. But his roommate was obsessed with gaming. What started as a few casual rounds turned into all-nighters at internet cafes. He stopped going to class, paused his future. Then came the debt, the isolation, the downward spiral. It wasn't because he lacked intelligence. It was because he chose the wrong kind of pleasure and let it reshape his life. And here's the irony. The people who create addictive tech avoid it themselves. Steve Jobs didn't let his kids use iPads. Bill Gates banned smartphones for his children until they were 13. And the founders of social media? They turn off their own devices after work. They know how dopamine works. And they refuse to let it run their homes. But what about us? We use dopamine, like a painkiller, to escape stress, pressure, boredom. But those things don't disappear. We just get weaker. And that's why the wealth gap keeps growing. Not just because of money, but because of how people respond to boredom. Dopamine is easy. Endorphin is hard. And that's exactly why it's worth it. How to break free from dopamine. Nobody wants to feel stuck. Nobody wants to feel aimless, tired, or constantly distracted. But if you want to break out of the dopamine trap, you'll need more than just willpower. You need a counter strategy. 1. Be more patient than most people. Everyone craves quick rewards. But if you can sit through 5 more minutes, read 1 more page even when it feels pointless, stay focused just a little longer than everyone else, you're building distance. The founder of TikTok once said, "While my friends were dating, I was learning to code. While they watched television, I was typing scripts." He wasn't a genius. He just endured longer than most. 2. Do what others avoid. Haruki Murakami wakes up at 4:30 every morning to run. Then he writes alone for hours. Not because he's superhuman, but because he knows. Success doesn't come from excitement. It comes from repeating the boring until it becomes who you are. You don't have to enjoy it. You just have to do it long enough for it to become part of you. 3. Choose the slow loop to do what others can't. Short video, dopamine now. Game win? Dopamine now. Candy? Dopamine now. Reading, exercising, deep work? Takes time, feels slow. But when it pays off, it reshapes who you are. Endorphins are delayed rewards. But that's exactly what makes them real. Dopamine says, "Here's pleasure right now." Endorphin says, "Here's strength if you earn it." And once you get past the hard beginning, you don't just get your focus back. You get yourself back. Final message. The world won't pause just because you need to get your life together. But it will open a door if you're clear-eyed enough to walk through it. So ask yourself, what are you chasing? Cheap pleasure or lasting growth? Endorphin doesn't come from luck. It comes from the mornings you don't quit. From the quiet decisions to say no to ease even when no one's watching. Life isn't divided by how much you make. It's divided by how you handle boredom. And the next time you see someone scrolling mindlessly through their feed, you'll understand. It's not just a habit. It's a life being quietly shaped. Mr. Simple Bob. Straight talk. For people who've had enough of the blur.